Good.
All right, thank you. I have moved by Councillor Hazelton, seconded by Councillor Jarvis. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Georgian Bay rise from closed session at 4:52 p.m. and report council provide direction to legal counsel regarding items with the Delawana Resort. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. So now, council, we're going to go back to the earlier item on our agenda, which was the staff report in regards to the MECP grant agreement to remove Phragmites and rehabilitate wetlands from our sustainability department. And hopefully we can get Ms. Schneier to rejoin us.
Through your worship, we will just give her another 3 minutes to join. She's on her way.
Thank you very much.
While we're waiting, could I ask a question, Mayor Kutz here, please?
Yes, you know we're in public though and being recorded.
Of course. I just,
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure.
I'll try and be polite. Just on this issue, I may have missed it, but I'm trying to understand where the breakdown is in terms of the actual expenditures for the two separate projects. Maybe I missed it when I read the report the first time. I didn't see it, but is it, in other words, the boardwalk versus the Phragmites?
I don't have that information. I think that would be a question for Ms. Schneier.
Okay, I thought it was clear. I thought you were involved in it. That's why I was asking if you knew how it was broken out.
I was involved in setting it up, but not the detailed report that was prepared. Ms. Schneier, thank you so much for all your patience. Oh, you're still on mute.
Are you saying that to me, my patience?
Yeah, we
Trying to
can
find a place without the sun.
Yeah, okay. Well, now we see you. You're wearing a good band, you know. So I don't know. It's
A sun, yeah.
on it, like you're a Girl Guide or
It's just
something.
sun.
Okay.
Okay, I have the report on this phone and I am operating off the other phone. So I'm delighted to speak to you today.
Well, we appreciate all your patience.
Oh, no problem at all. Absolutely. So do you want me to start?
Please go ahead.
Your worship, I'm presenting to you today a report about the MECP grant agreement that is being proposed to us to remove Phragmites for just over 10 hectares of land and water around Potato Green and Quarry Island. We're also going to take a look at the Lily Pond, Port Severn Park, possibly some of the Port of Honey Harbor, up at 12 Mile Road and 12 Kings Bay Marina and also Moose Deer Point Marina, with some possible options of playing around a little bit in Sawdust Bay, although it's probably a little bit unlikely since nothing is growing in Sawdust Bay, including Phragmites. We're also, Your Worship, going to rehabilitate a boardwalk that's 178 feet that is presently within the confines of the Oak Bay development, but is owned by Georgian Bay Land Trust. So we're going to rehabilitate that boardwalk as well, and we'll be using municipal staff for that. The remainder of the projects will be with our partners, Georgian Bay Forever, Severn Sound Environmental Association, Georgian Bay Biosphere, and possibly some people from the Georgian Bay Preservation Alliance, although I don't think they're really on the ground. I think they're more involved in bringing this project to us in the first place.
All right, thank you. Staff.
So just to let you know, the grant is $478,000. It is a 100% funding opportunity for the municipality. As the report identifies, it was brought to our attention actually by you, Your Worship, and some work that you were doing with the Alliance. And we as staff have been able to navigate this and present this to you because we need to get confirmation that this is a project that you would be okay with. And then also we need an agreement for you and direction to sign a transfer payment agreement with the province, which will be very quick in terms of the turnaround, probably because of the election.
Well, and of course, they want to get everything resolved before the end of March for their fiscal year end, if I understand it correctly. They being the province.
Yes, they being the province. The only thing is that we will not be able to spend this by the end of this fiscal year,
No.
but we have said that we would be able to conquer some of this territory in advance of the 2023 year end.
Yeah. All right, I think might be some questions, and I see Councillor Cooper has raised his hand.
Thank you, Mayor Kutzier and Jennifer, for your report. I'd like to have a better understanding of where these dollars are actually going. You mentioned Georgian Bay Forever and Phragmites, and you mentioned the boardwalk, and then you mentioned a whole bunch of other organizations that would be involved with, I'm assuming, the Phragmites removal. Is that correct? And if so, who's getting what and where? I don't have any detail about that. Thank you.
There's about $250,000 of this grant is going to labor, removing the Phragmites and taking it to the shore, drying it, and then ultimately removing again. Is very labor intensive. Georgian Bay Forever will be the lead organization. However, for some projects like the Lily Pond, we're already developing a relationship with Sustainable Severn Sound. So we put in the application an opportunity to purchase extra what are called raspberry canes. And so we will be distributing those outside of Georgian Bay Forever to all of our associations that do Phragmites removal, and they'll be helping us with some projects. But I would say that if I were to proportionally suggest it, 80% is going to Georgian Bay Forever, and the remaining organizations will help them pick up. And then also a significant amount. So then also we will be renting a truck saw and an operator, and we will also be using some of the money to purchase a boat. And the boat will be part of the municipality's property for 7 years. And then at the end of the 7 years, we'll be able to declare it surplus and be able to possibly recoup some of our the funding for that. But in the meantime, we're going to be working with Georgian Bay Forever, who will be working with us and the boat to get it to various locations, in particular Quarry, Green, and Potato Island. The majority of the Phragmites that have been identified are around those 3 areas and will require a barge and a boat to be able to get it removed.
The boardwalk?
No, through you, Your Worship, Mr. Councillor Cooper, this is the area around the Potato, Green, and Quarry Island.
No, I think Ms. Booth, sorry, Ms. Booth, yeah?
Your Worship, putting my Director of Finance hat back on, the boardwalk is at a cost of about $45,500 plus the management of it, and the boardwalk portion of the project is led by township staff.
So what is
I'm
that?
sorry.
What is that total, please, then? You said there's 45,000, I'm assuming in materials. What is the total cost for that particular project out of the $478,000? Thank you.
45.5 is the budgeted amount for the boardwalk plus management costs that are not broken out into the two projects.
So we don't really know how much is going towards the total amount that's going to the boardwalk. We just have a lot of money to throw. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, council? Councilor Jarvis.
Sorry, I've become confused. I thought I had everything straight in my head. Now I don't. Is there money that we are putting in as a municipality for these projects? My impression was there was no money coming out of the council coffers, except in the form of staff time. Is that correct?
Through your worship, that is correct. There's very little that's coming out of the municipality in terms of cost, if close to nothing. We are going to be responsible for some of the GIS mapping. That is generally part of our day-to-day operation, but at the same time, we'll be specific to these 3 area projects, the big ones, and then other smaller areas. There'll be staff time associated to that. And there'll be staff time in terms of communicating the story and making sure that residents are aware of what is happening. But the majority of the associated expenses of staff time are included in the budget.
Inclusive of the boardwalk.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Boudier.
Through your worship, I must also add that some of the staff time is part of the grant and is recovered as part of the grant. So the only impact really on the township is, that other works will have to be put aside because we don't have the capacity to do it all at the same time. So really, yes, staff time is also being recovered in monies received with this grant. Some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Councilor Bocek, followed by Councilor Cooper, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Personally, I think this is great. This is a wonderful project. It's what we've been looking for to try and contain the Phragmites. Keeping infrastructure updated at somebody else's dime. I think this is wonderful work, and thank you, Jennifer.
Oh, you're welcome.
Councilor Cooper.
Thank you. And I think it's wonderful that we're getting all this money. I would at some point appreciate our CAO slash guru on finance to try and give us some sort of indication as to the billings that will come out of staff efforts and out of this amount of money. Is it 50,000 to 75,000? Some sort of indication of that number was one thing I wanted to mention. And when I just heard about GIS, I would like to comment that we have a very, very good rate with the district of Muskoka to have GIS work. I think they charge $15 an hour. It's unbelievably inexpensive. So if we're going to do any GIS work, that's where we should go. And I realize that Julie may be aware of that, but I want to make sure that we're not going elsewhere having GIS work done. Thank you.
Oh, through your worship, Councillor Cooper, you'll be delighted to know that we have earmarked $35,000, which is part of the original expenses to the GIS mapping, and this will be offset by this grant.
Well, so that's lovely, and that's one heck of a lot of GIS mapping at $15 an hour. So you need to think about how you're going to justify that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add to all this. I think we're very fortunate that this opportunity was introduced to us in that it allows us to get a lot more work done than somebody like Georgian Bay Forever, as much as they've been attacking Phragmites along our coastlines. They're now be able to take on some projects that were far too significant for them to handle, like in scale, without this funding. So this funding allows us to take the the Phragmites fight to a whole different level. And I also think that we, given the boat, given the GIS information, all that can be used in following years to do more work. I mean, this is a one-year funding project, but there will be legacy benefits from it, and I think that it's a great thing for our for coastal areas of our township. If there are no other comments or questions, I will read the resolution. And this is moved by Councillor Jarvis, seconded by Councillor Hazelton. Whereas in early February 2022, the Georgian Bay Preservation Alliance, through Mayor Coetsier, brought to the attention of staff a granting opportunity with the MECP. And whereas staff have worked closely with the MECP and community partners such as Georgian Bay Forever to arrive at feasible projects that meet the grant requirements. And whereas other community partners were consulted, such as the SSEA, GBBR, GBPA, GBLT, and therefore be it resolved that council directs staff to enter into an agreement with the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, MECP, for their WCPP program, which is 100% funding in the amount of $478,119. Is that all enough initials for everyone? That council endorses proposed projects to: 1, rehabilitate 6 wetland areas in the township by removing Phragmites as indicated in this report, and 2, rehabilitate a boardwalk in a wetland area owned by Georgian Bay Land Trust as indicated in this report. And the council understands that internal staff resources will be used to manage the project, including tasks such as allocation of a portion of the funds to contribute to GIS mapping, site visits, fund management, grant report writing to MECP, rehabilitate the 178-foot boardwalk, and the issuing of the necessary tenders for items that are required for this project, utilizing the procurement policy. I think that's the full resolution. Councillor Cooper.
Sorry, I just wanted to understand, you mentioned the organization that brought this to your attention was the Georgian Bay Preservation Alliance.
That's correct.
And who are they?
They are a group of individuals in the Cognisheen area who have great interest in Georgian Bay waters.
Oh, this is Michael McCain's thing.
Michael McCain, that's Michael McCain origin.
Oh my
organization,
goodness,
yeah.
that's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think they were doing anything in Georgian Bay lately, but anyway, thank you.
Oh, and they've done quite a bit of work also in regards to the sewage overflow from communities along our lakefronts. That's been one of their biggest projects lately.
Yeah, they were also trying to get our bylaws changed so they could build big cottages, but anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
That was quite a few years ago. Organizations change. Let's look at our township. Any other comments?
Are we still in open session recording?
We're in open session and being recorded.
Okay. Nothing from here.
All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. All right. With that, I'm not sure we have anything else that we need to attend to.
Your worship, there's just one thing I wanted to mention about the grant, which is really of interest.
Please.
The cutters that they're going to be using are zero emission electric steel cutters in some of the projects, which is kind of exciting for us to see these types of pieces of equipment being chosen as priority infrastructure for this project. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you.
Electrical equipment being used in a wetland. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, well, we're starting to see electric outboards.
I don't think they're going to plug them into your cottage.
Good thing it powers off.
All right, so now if everyone's ready, we have to get to the last couple of bylaws, if I can find, resolutions, if I can find them in my collection here. Well, that's the last one. So prior to that, I think, be it resolved, I got moved by Councillor Bocheck, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Be it resolved that council adopts bylaw 2022-020 to confirm the proceedings of the March 3rd, 2022 special council meeting. All those in favor? And then my last one, I believe, we're ready for the last one, Ms. Way? Okay, then I have moved by Councillor Bocheck, seconded by Councillor Hazelton. Be it resolved, the council is now adjourned at 5:13 p.m. until March 14th, 2022 at 9 a.m. or at the call of the chair. All those in favor? And that is carried, and we are now adjourned. Thank you very much for this, the last, well, I guess it's 3¼ hours of work, and appreciate it all, and we will see you soon.